everybody, and welcome back to our channel. This is Cooking Casually with Aaron and...
I'm Connor. That's right. What are we trying to achieve today?
We're going to show you guys some average sandwiches and we're going to jazz them up.
So, Aaron, what's the first sandwich we're making today?
Our first sandwich is a classic turkey sandwich with a twist. We're going to start off with a basil pesto base. Our first step is to make the basil. So I've got my handy dandy food processor here, and I'm going to throw in a bunch of basil from Connor's garden. So we're going to throw that in there, and then we're going to throw in some walnuts. So these are just regular raw organic walnuts that we're going to throw in, and then we'll go into some olive oil and we're going to throw that in as well, and lastly the juice of 1 lemon. And once we are done with that, we're going to season it with some salt and you're ready to roll. So I'm just going to chop this up real quick to see what the consistency is, and then I can always add in more stuff at the end. So we're going to toast up some bread. Connor got us some nice sourdough. We're going to cut it up. So we're going to cut 2 slices and throw them in the toaster because I like all sandwiches nice and toasty. Now that we've toasted our bread, we're going to slap it on this cutting board, and then we're going to slap on some of our pesto. Yay! So while I'm smearing that, we are going to open up the oven roasted turkey. This is just regular deli turkey. You can use any meat you want here. Turkey's pretty classic. That's what I picked up. I'm going to beautifully spread that on top of the pesto, and then we're going to top it with arugula!
Arugula, America's favorite green.
Of course, you can use any other green here, but arugula is the best. Alright, then we're going to throw the other piece of bread on top, and then Connor's going to give it a try.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to love it. There is a God!
Next up, we've got
a fun take on a tuna sandwich. This is a curry tuna sandwich, my favorite.
I'm going to start by just dicing up some celery real quick. I'm just going to use 1 slice per 1 can of tuna. So once I've sliced up the celery, I'm going to throw it in a bowl. Then I'm going to take this tuna can. It's sustainable skipjack tuna. You can use any tuna you want. And we're going to open it and pour out half of the liquid, but do keep some of the liquid for that moisture that you want to keep. Alright, then we're going to throw it in the bowl as well, and then we're going to take a giant dollop of mayo. If you're like not a mayo fan, you can skip this step, but it does add to the creaminess of the dish. And then we're going to throw in curry powder. I have no idea how much I'm throwing in here, I'm just kind of going for it. And then I'm going to see the color and then add some more if needed at the end. Once I've got the curry powder in, I'm going to put some salt, and then put some pepper. And then my last minute thought was to throw in some raisins. Again, this is optional. I'm not a really big fan of raisins, but it does add a little bit of something in there. Also, just a splash of apple cider vinegar. We're going to mix it up with a fork, just like this. And then it's time for the sandwich making. Once again, we're going to cut up some bread, toast it, and then spread this beautiful tuna goodness. Now, I always like to have some sort of greens going on in the sandwich or some sort of veggies. So I picked some microgreens. Super optional. Microgreens are really expensive. And you can use any kind of sprouts here. I'm using kale, and this also adds a little spicy little thing. A little crunchy, a little green, a little nutrients, a little Okay, again, we're going to close it up. I like to smear a little bit more of this tuna on top of the other piece of bread because then it's like, juicy on both sides. It's like the whole top it off, and again, cut it down diagonally. You guys already know it. And look at this cross section right here.
I liked it. I've had a lot of tuna sandwiches in my day, but never one quite like this. Curry, tastes good. A real work of art. That's the stuff. Tofu veg fast. Aaron, what can you tell us about this sandwich?
This is a classic vegetarian sandwich, again with a twist. And by twist, I mean we are just throwing a lot of fun things in here. So we're gonna start off by marinating the tofu, and you can do this ahead of time But we marinate it for just 10 minutes, and that's plenty of time because the tofu is very porous and it soaks in all that juicy goodness.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use a bag. We're just using a silicone bag, and we're just gonna cut the tofu this way, the way that I'm doing it. So in this marinade, we have 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm using tamari sauce because it is gluten-free. 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and lastly 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And then you're gonna shake it up and let it sit for as long as you want. We let it sit for 10 minutes, and meanwhile we're gonna get started on the veggies.
Okay, so what veggies are we using here?
So I decided to use 1 bell pepper. Seriously, you can throw anything you want in there. I decided to use 1 bell pepper. You're just gonna slice it up the way Connor's doing it beautifully right in this shot. And some purple cabbage. And I chose purple because why not get all the fun colors in this sandwich, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And 1 avocado. What would we do without avocado in one of our videos? All right, it's time to get the tofu sizzling. We're gonna heat up a cast iron pan, and we're just gonna throw in some rice bran oil and peanut oil. Okay, then we're just gonna throw the tofu in and just wait until it crisps up. That's really it. Keep it on medium heat, and then we're gonna put some peppers in there. I like my peppers al dente when they're in a sandwich. I don't want them super cooked, but I don't want them raw. Once that's done, we're gonna transfer that to a plate, and we're ready to assemble. So the first step again is to grab our bread. I did not toast this bread this time. I'm using gluten-free bread. Once again, slapping that bread on the cutting board. And for the juice in this sandwich, we're gonna use hummus. You can use any kind of hummus. You can make your own hummus. You can do whatever you want. I'm gonna put some hummus down, and then I'm going to lay the peppers so that they coat the sandwich. Right on top, I'm gonna throw in 1 square of tofu. Over top of that, I'm gonna put some purple cabbage. And then I'm just gonna grab any kind of hot sauce that I find. Super optional, but I like this sandwich hot. I found some sriracha here. I'm just gonna throw that. And of course, our avocado. Yum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna garnish it a little bit with some lime juice. This is optional. I do really like lime with the soy and the peanut. It just kind of like works, you know what I mean?
Sure does.
And lastly, I have some microgreens left over, so I'm just gonna throw them on. And you can do whatever you want. We're gonna top this sandwich off and cut it
Into a bunch of little squares, right?
diagonally.
Diagonally.
I like it because it has all the building blocks of food that you need, right? So we have our whole grain source of carbohydrates, lots of fiber, and then we have our protein. So we had the tuna, or we had the turkey, or the tofu, and then we have those fats from the oil, from the avocado, from the hummus, from the mayo. It's delicious, and it's satiating, and it's classic, and it's wholesome.
Wholesome as fuck. And that's it for today's show. I'm Connor.
And I'm Erin.
And this is Cooking Casually. If you liked what you saw, or even if you hated it, or if you were kind of neutral, like and subscribe. We would really appreciate that. Feel free to share this on the social media, and catch us next time for the next casual meal. We'll be back, and I hope you will be too.
Arugula. What'd you say?
Blood? There's a jet flying over right now.
Does it
Classic
not
jet.
know?
I know.
It's probably like Chris Lindahl.
Yeah.
Cut it into squares because squares go on sandwiches.
Unless it's a circular sandwich.
Then you get out of town. Keep it casual, keep it cool, keep it crispy. So obviously if you have a peanut allergy, why would you throw that in there?
Don't do it. I mean, it's not funny that anyone would have a peanut allergy. Erin's gonna try this sandwich and
Hold on. Yeah, I like it because you've got all the elements of food.
Okay.
This is just a way to make your sandwiches bougie as... Put in Erin's footage of her eating the tofu sandwich.
Why is that, Erin?
Because it's better!
That's it? It's better. Because I told you so.
Because
Basically, so
I
shut
said
up
so.
and